catch the manager's secret. My name is Ethan. I worked as an ordinary graphic designer at a large company. My days were always the same: office, home, sleep, repeat. I had no friends, no love, nothing that made the routine feel alive. Then, one Monday, everything changed. A new manager walked into our department. Her name was Claire. She was kind, graceful, and impossibly beautiful. Everyone liked her instantly, but I couldn't stop watching her. She smiled even when others were rude to her. She spoke softly to everyone, no matter how they treated her. That small kindness touched something in my lonely heart. What I didn't know back then was that the woman I was falling for was already married, and her husband was a man I had every reason to fear. Claire often came to my desk for help. "Ethan, can you fix this layout for me?" she asked one afternoon. Her perfume was faint and sweet. I felt nervous, but I helped her anyway. She thanked me with a smile that stayed in my mind all night. Soon she started joining me for lunch. We talked about books, music, and the dreams we'd never told anyone. I found a strange peace in her words. Then one day I overheard her on the phone. "Yes, honey, I'll cook dinner tonight." My smile faded instantly. She was married. My heart grew heavy, but I couldn't stop caring about her, not anymore. I tried to avoid her after that, but fate kept pulling us together. One evening she found me alone in the office and said, "You work too hard." I smiled weakly. "Maybe I just don't have anyone waiting for me at home." Her expression turned sad. She whispered, "Sometimes, even when someone is waiting for you, you still feel completely alone." That single sentence lodged itself in my chest. After that night, we began sharing coffee breaks, quiet jokes, and long silences that somehow said more than words. Her eyes carried stories of pain, and mine carried a love I didn't dare speak. I was falling deeper into something I couldn't control. People at the office began to talk. A coworker leaned in one day and murmured, "Ethan, do you know she's the boss's wife?" I froze. "Mr. Marcus?" I asked. "Yes," he said. My world went dark. Marcus was proud, cold, and ruthless. He once told me, "You will never rise in this company." Now I understood why he despised me. His wife, Claire, was the only light in my dull, gray life. That night, sleep never came. I told myself to stop, to walk away, but my heart refused to listen. Love doesn't ask permission, it simply happens, even when it breaks every rule you've ever lived by. The next morning, Claire noticed my silence. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. "Just tired," I lied. She smiled sadly. Later that day, she sent me a message. "Meet me at the cafe near the bridge." My hands trembled the entire walk there. She was sitting by the window, her eyes red from crying. "My marriage isn't what it looks like," she said. "He changed. He doesn't love me anymore." Her voice cracked. I couldn't stay silent. "You deserve peace," I told her. Tears fell from her eyes, and without thinking, I wiped them away. That small touch changed everything forever. We began meeting in secret, sometimes near the park, sometimes along the riverbank. She told me about her past. I listened without a word. Once she said, "I stay strong for everyone else, but never for myself." I wanted to shield her from the entire world. Every time we met, she smiled a little more, and I stopped caring about the risk. Love had already claimed my heart, but I also knew the truth. One mistake could destroy us both. Still, when she whispered my name, every fear I carried dissolved like smoke in the wind. One evening, we stayed late at the office. The building was silent. She handed me a file, and our hands touched. The air grew heavy. "I can't hide it anymore," she whispered. I looked at her and said, "Neither can I," before I could think. She kissed me soft, trembling, afraid. That's when the door swung open. A deep voice said, "So this is where my wife has been working late." It was Marcus. We froze. His eyes were ice as they moved between us. "Enjoy your last night in this office," he said, then walked away. By the next morning, my job was gone, no explanation, no warning. I packed my desk in silence. Claire never came in that day. It felt like the world had ended. That night, she sent one final message, "Forgive me." I tried calling, but she never answered. I went to her house, but the guard at the gate said, "Madam left with her husband." I walked home in the pouring rain, my heart breaking with every step. I wanted to forget her, but her face followed me into every dream and every shadow I passed. Months went by. I moved to another city and opened a small design studio. Life became quiet again, but never peaceful. I missed her voice, her smile, her gentleness. Then one afternoon, standing in a bookstore, I heard someone say softly, "Ethan." My heart stopped. I turned around. It was Claire. She looked thinner but free. "I left him," she said. "It took months, but I finally did it." I wanted to pull her into my arms, but I only smiled. "Are you okay?" I asked. She nodded and whispered, "I am now because you're still here." We sat on a park bench and talked for hours. She told me about her new life. "I live in a small apartment now. I teach painting to children," she said proudly. I smiled. "You always loved color." She laughed softly. Then a little boy came running toward her, shouting, "Mommy." My smile froze in place. "This is Noah," she said. He looked up at me with the same brown eyes I saw in the mirror every single day. My chest tightened. I didn't ask the question out loud, but deep down, I already knew the answer. Some truths don't need words. After that day, we started seeing each other often. I helped her move furniture and took Noah to the park. He laughed every time I lifted him into the air. Claire watched us with eyes full of peace. One evening, as I was leaving, she said quietly, "Noah feels safe with you." I smiled. "And you?" I asked without thinking. She looked away, hiding her smile. That small moment meant everything. I realized love was never about grand declarations. It lived in quiet afternoons, in a child's laughter, and in the feeling of finally being home. Then one afternoon, the fear returned. Marcus was standing outside her building. "You can't hide from me," he shouted. I ran to her side. "Leave her alone," I said. He laughed coldly. "You again?" Neighbors started stepping outside to watch. "You're making a mistake," he warned. "You already made yours," I said firmly. He glared at me with hatred before storming off. Claire cried hard that night. "He'll never stop," she whispered. I held her close and said, "He already lost you." That's what hurts him most. She managed a faint smile and finally slept in peace. After that night, Claire decided to end her marriage for good, legally, completely. "I want freedom," she said. I stood beside her through every document, every courtroom visit. It took months, but she stayed strong. The day the papers finally arrived, she cried with joy. "It's really over," she said. Noah hugged her tightly. We walked home in the rain, laughing like children. For the first time, I saw her eyes shine not with pain, but with peace. That day, I understood what love truly means, standing beside someone when their whole world falls apart. Life began again slowly. Claire opened a small art school. I helped design the posters, and soon children started filling the classrooms. Noah started calling me Uncle Ethan, and I didn't mind at all. One day, while we were painting the walls together, she said, "You changed my life." I smiled. "You changed mine first." She looked at me with eyes full of love, though the words still went unspoken. Some stories don't need to be told out loud, they simply grow quietly on their own. Every evening we sat on the balcony, watching Noah draw, laughing softly, feeling like a real family. The years passed quietly. One morning, Noah ran up to me with a drawing, 3 people holding hands. "This is you, me, and Mom," he said proudly. My throat tightened. Claire watched, smiling. Later, she whispered, "He's your son in every way that matters." I looked at her, my eyes glistening. "Then I already have everything I ever wanted," I said. We never needed marriage papers or rings. Love was already written into every moment we shared, every meal we cooked together, every night we spent talking beneath the stars. One day we returned to the old cafe where it all began. The owner smiled. "You two look happy now." Claire laughed softly, taking my hand. "Do you regret anything?" she asked. "Not a single thing," I said. She nodded, her eyes glowing. "Then maybe all that pain was just the road that led us here to peace." Outside, the rain fell just as it had that first day, but now it sounded gentle, like a quiet promise. That night we didn't say much. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words, and that silence said, "We finally made it." A year later, we received the news. Marcus had died in an accident. Claire sat in silence for a long moment. "I don't hate him," she finally said. "I just hope he finds peace." Her forgiveness surprised me. That night we walked along the river. She whispered, "I can finally breathe fully." I smiled. "You always could, you just forgot how." She rested her head on my shoulder, and we watched the moon together. Life had come full circle. The pain that once broke us was now just a memory, carried away on a gentle wind. Noah grew taller, smarter, happier. One day he called me Dad for the first time. I froze, then pulled him into a tight hug. "You're my hero," he said. Claire smiled through tears. We didn't have a life of luxury, but we had peace. Every evening we cooked together, laughed together, and shared our stories. Love no longer felt dangerous, it felt safe. I finally understood that sometimes love arrives at the wrong moment just to teach us the right lessons. And when it stays, it becomes a home. Steady, quiet, and true. Years later, I told Noah the truth. "Your mom and I met during a very hard time in life," I said. He smiled and said, "So love made it easier." That made me laugh. He wanted to study art just like his mother. Our small home filled up with his drawings. Sometimes Claire would look at me and say, "We turned pain into something beautiful." And she was right. We never chased a perfect love. We simply kept walking together, one step at a time, until that love became peace, and that peace became forever. Now, when I look back, I don't see a sin or a mistake. I see destiny. The woman I once feared to love became my entire world. Her son became mine, and I, the man who once lost everything, found more than I ever dared to dream of. If there's one lesson in our story, it's this. Love doesn't always begin the right way, but when it's real, it finds a way to survive. So never be ashamed of where your love begins. Be proud of how far it can carry you. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more emotional stories. Keep watching, keep feeling, and we'll see you in the next story, where every word comes straight from the heart.